So you're thinking about buying a home and want to make the right decision, as after all, buying a home is one of the biggest financial and life decisions you'll ever make. So in this video here, I'll be covering the 5 big things you need to look out for when purchasing a home. So the 5 big things we'll be covering in today's video aren't a brand new kitchen or a brand new bathroom that was recently renovated or brand new floors. These are cosmetic repairs, and while fun to look at, are less important than the structural bones of a property. And the reason why this is while yes, it may take a little bit of work to update those shag carpets or that pink wall or that completely outdated kitchen, what could end up costing you way more headaches and a lot more money is if there's structural problems with the property you purchase. Because if there's structural problems that you're unaware of when you purchase a home and you let them go on, it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to repair, and even worse, cause further damage to the home without you knowing before it's too late. And I don't know about you, but when I purchase a home, I want to make sure the bones are in good working order so I can spend my money doing the more fun renovations like ripping out and gutting and putting a brand new kitchen or a brand new bathroom in, rather than doing some of these structural repairs we'll be chatting about today. So if you're new here, my name is Matthew. I'm a realtor in the GTA, and this is my channel where I share everything I've learned around real estate investing and personal development, helping empower you to make the best decisions possible for yourself. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to not miss out on any one of my future videos. So the very first thing you need to be looking at when you're purchasing a property is the first thing you'll notice when you get out of your car to view that property, and that is the shingles in the roofing of the home. Now, I recommend that you at least walk 360 degrees around the home at least once during your visit there to make sure that the shingles are in good working order 360 degrees around the home. As while it is uncommon, it still blows my mind that there are some homeowners that maybe take the time to only replace 1/2 of the shingles. So while you're walking around the home inspecting the shingles, a couple things to look out for is to see how are they deteriorating? Are there any missing spots? Are there any things that are peeling up? And what's great about shingles is typically you can look at some neighbors' roofs and get some good baselines of what some good quality shingles will look like and how does the home that you'll be looking at compare to those. So the reason why you want to make sure the shingles are in good condition, as it could easily run you up to $5,000 or more to get them replaced. And that price will vary and easily could go up depending on the size of your roof, what the pitch is, and how many valleys you have in it. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm a handyman, so why don't I just go up and save the money and put in the shingles myself? And while yes, you may be able to actually do the work, however, a lot of shingle manufacturers won't honor their warranty if it's not installed by a professional. So if you do plan on saving money and doing the replacement yourself, ensure that you at least look into it to make sure the manufacturers will live up and honor their warranty. The reason why you want to make sure the shingles are in good condition, as if they're in poor condition, it could easily be an indicator that there's a lot of other underlying major problems with the home, especially regarding water damage or mold damage, as mold damage is one of the worst things that could happen to your home, as even if you remove 99% of it, that 1% could easily spread and start to affect the house once again. And you won't know about the mold or water damage until it's usually too late. So next, let's talk about heating, cooling, and ventilation in your home, otherwise known as HVAC. And in this video here, I'm going to be mainly talking about natural gas furnaces, and the reason why is this is the most common you'll find throughout the GTA. However, there are a couple furnaces that you may need to have an expert check in and look at, like an electrical baseboard or some boiler systems. So with natural gas furnaces, you want to make sure it's in good working order, because if it is not, there could pose massive problems towards either a fire hazard or carbon monoxide poisoning. And when you're taking a look at natural gas furnaces, there's really 2 types, the mid-efficient and the high-efficient. So mid-efficiency furnaces, by the name, are obviously not as efficient as high-efficiency furnaces, so they are going to take a little bit more energy and money to run, and are some red flags that do pop up. However, if they are maintained properly, they can easily have a lifespan up to 30 years. So a quick and easy way to determine if you're looking at a mid-efficiency furnace is they typically have a metal chimney. So the reason why a couple flags pop in my head when I see a mid-efficiency furnace is because these are typically older furnaces that, if not maintained properly, could have a slew of problems. Now, by no means am I an HVAC expert, but if you notice that you have a mid-efficiency furnace, it's always a good idea to get it inspected to make sure it's all up in working order. As like I said, it has a 30-year lifespan if it's been maintained correctly. So if you're looking at your furnace and it doesn't have a metal chimney, you're most likely looking at a high efficiency furnace, as these were never made with a metal chimney, but rather only plastic. And there's two colors you could be seeing. You could be seeing a black one or a white one. So if it's black piping, this is ABS piping, and these were typically installed in the early 2000s. And if you find white piping, that is PVC piping that is found in more modern furnaces. So while the mid-efficiency furnace has a lifespan of 30 years if maintained correctly, high efficiency furnaces could go between 15 and 25 years if it's really pushing it. Regardless of what furnace you're looking at, you still want to find the tag, usually on the natural gas line, that indicates when it was installed, as you want to understand how much longer of a lifespan you have when you're purchasing this home, so you can budget in when you should be expecting to have to replace this furnace. The third big thing you want to look at when you're purchasing a home are the windows, and see how up to date they are, as at the end of the day, windows are one of the more costly repairs and renovations you'll ever do to your home, as they could easily cost you $10,000, if not $25,000 to $30,000. And there's really three things you want to look out for when you're looking at the windows. So the first thing you want to look at is the frame. Is it a wood frame or is it a PVC frame? And if it's a wood frame, make sure it's in good condition and it's not rotting anywhere. And of course, if it is a wood frame and you want to replace it, it is going to cost a little bit more money to get the whole window replaced with its frame, but it could absolutely be worth it, as it could increase your efficiency and you could easily recoup those costs back over the lifetime of those windows. The second thing you want to check is how many panes are in the window, and there's typically three types: single pane, double pane, and you guessed it, triple pane. So how do you know what type of panes there are in the windows? A simple hack that you can do is just hold up your iPhone flashlight and see how many reflections there are. If there's one reflection, it's a single pane. Now my guess is the majority of homes you'll be looking at aren't going to be single pane, as these are really associated with really old buildings. More likely what you're going to see is two reflections, because these are double pane windows. So these double pane windows are definitely better at insulation and noise cancellation compared to single pane windows. However, the best windows you could purchase are triple pane windows. And while yes, they are a bit more expensive than double pane windows, if you're planning on living in this home and this is your dream home where you're going to live for 20 to 30 years, you can easily see the cost come back to you in the long run from all the money you'll be saving in energy efficiency. So the third thing you want to look for when you're looking at the windows is to make sure that they're just sealed properly from both the inside and outside, as this is such an easy way to make sure the windows aren't leaking out any heat or cool air throughout the different seasons. This next one is the absolute support of the home, and that is the foundation. And if problems are not resolved with this here, it could result in massive costs down the road. One of the most common things you'll see when inspecting the foundation of a home are cracks going down from the left and right corners of the bunker windows. Now, typically these cracks aren't nothing to really worry about, and you can easily get them fixed with just getting them epoxy sealed for a couple $100s. However, what you want to pay attention to more are those bigger cracks. So if you do notice those bigger cracks, definitely bring it to your agent's attention and try and get a third-party professional that actually specializes in foundations in to inspect it further. But while you're looking at the foundation, another thing you should be looking for is if there's any mold problems, as this is typically where you'll find a lot of the mold problems that are starting. So the three areas I'd be checking out would be any crawl spaces to see if there's any mold festering there. Then the next thing I'd be checking is if there's any previous owners storing any boxes or anything else on the ground to see if there's any water damage marks, as this is a good indication that there was previous water damage and easily could result in mold throughout the foundation. And if you're looking in a finished basement, check the baseboards. See if there's a discoloration along those baseboards, as that could also indicate any water damage, which would result in mold. The fifth big bone you need to be checking is the electrical system. And while this one's a little bit harder to check out, as it's usually hidden behind all the drywall of the home, the first thing I would do is go check out the electrical panel down in the basement typically. Quickly, the first thing I would check to see is if there's any additional slots on the panel, as while it's not a deal breaker if they're all full, but if you plan on doing any renovations or adding a hot tub outside, you should be aware that you at least need to add a sub panel in to power up those areas. The second thing you want to look for is how many amps this panel provides, and typically you'll find this up in the top corner or on the main breaker breaker at the top, and the numbers you'll typically find are either 75, 100, 125, and even 200 sometimes. So the current standard being used in modern homes is 100 amps, and this supplies enough power to run all of our modern day appliances. However, if you're looking at an older home that was maybe built in the 50s or 60s and hasn't been renovated yet, you'll find the panels typically have 70 amps. And this is not enough power typically for you to run all your modern day appliances. So if you're planning on living a modern lifestyle in this home, this is definitely something you're going to have to upgrade and easily could cost you a couple $1,000s. Another thing to keep in mind with these 70 amp panels is that the insurance companies don't like it, as it causes more concern for any fire hazards. So while yes, the majority of them will still insure you on the home, they're just going to have to charge you a higher premium. And the third thing you want to be looking at around the electrical system is the type of wiring that is throughout your home. And the typical wiring you'll find is copper. However, if your home was built in the 60s and 70s when there was a copper shortage, they may have used aluminum. Now, a lot of people get really nervous around aluminum wiring, and you can easily tell if it's aluminum wiring as the wire will state aluminum, or it'll state AULM or AULU. And while it's not a deal breaker if you have aluminum wiring, it's definitely essential that you get inspected to make sure it's in all good working order. And the reason why this is aluminum wiring is softer than copper wiring, so if an electrician maybe tightened the wiring too much, crushing it, it could result in some massive fire hazards later down the road. And the third type of wiring you could run into, which is way less common now, is tube and knob wiring. And if you see this in a home, my best advice is, unless you love that location or love that home and you plan on completely renovating and gutting out all the electrical system in to update it with modern day electronical system, I would highly urge you to go check out another place, as tube and knob wiring is extremely a problem for insurers, as well as it's not going to meet up to our modern day electricity needs. Now, of course, there's more than just these 5 things to be looking out for when purchasing a property, and that's why it's absolutely crucial to have a realtor there to help know what to look out for and what are causes of concerns, as it could be a sewer that is rusting and causing a clog. It could be a landscaping with massive trees that could cause potential problems in the future. It could be noticing a homemade renovation that may not be permitted by the city, and if the city finds out, you may be on the hook to pay for the removal of it. That's why it's absolutely crucial that you work with the agent that knows what to look for while you go view homes and start to admire the cosmetic repairs. And if you're looking to purchase a home in the GTA and want someone to help you, feel free to send me an email or a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to help you and go look at properties to make sure you're buying an asset and not a liability. So now you know the 5 big things to look out for when you're purchasing a property. The next video I'd highly recommend you check out is mistakes that first-time home buyers make. And while yes, they're more common that first-time home buyers will make these mistakes, I also see experienced home buyers make these mistakes that maybe haven't bought a property in 5, 10, or 15 years. So go check that out. And other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like button, as it truly does help me out. And make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about real estate investing or personal development, as that's what this channel is all about, is helping you better understand these subjects. Other than that, I hope you have a great and successful week, and I'll talk to you next week.